train dogs for that, but now we've got people. Now the fridge will come to you. Mecha turkey, yeah. Mechanical Turk. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically on Amazon. You can submit small jobs and people will do them, and you don't have to interact with them at all. So a lot of Mechanical Turk stuff is like CAPTCHA or other things like that. Like Fiverr, I don't think so. I don't know. It's I haven't looked into it in a while, but I remember there's a subreddit for Mechanical Turk, and people talk about the best hits where they can get the most money. And like one guy posted, I've been doing all this amazing stuff, and I've been saving up for the last week, and I can finally buy it, and it's a picture of an Arizona iced tea. It's like, fuck. But the only legitimate use I've ever seen somebody use for Mechanical Turk was my brother used to work for a company that ran basically pages, and you would get revenue based on the ads that were served on the page you created. So the idea was people in the community would make these pages, so people would visit the pages and view the ads, and those ad money would go back to people who made the page. And of course, they used Mechanical Turk to make sure that pictures that people posted on their pages weren't just pornographic. So imagine just like, we've automated all these tasks. We've set up this amazing thing where tasks will automatically go to people around the world, and we can perform all these amazing things using crowdsourcing and automation, and we're all just looking at pictures of porn. Way to go, human race! You did it, guys. You finally we reached the bottom. I don't think they minded. I don't know. One guy I went to college with, he had a job that was basically going and looking through porn sites, and just soul crushing job. That guy was not. The guy was done with life pretty much after all that. He's like, I don't want to. I don't want to do this anymore. Which is probably a healthy reaction to that being your job. I mean, that's what the internet's for, Karakan. Welcome back. It's it's one of those streams. I was just commenting on how one of the pinnacles of automation is, having tasks. It's basically like the cool thing about Mechanical Turk is everything's programmatic, so you can programmatically create tasks that other people could do. So you could automate, breaking captchas and things like that, and it would work, and like people could do that, and as a result of this amazing automation, like it's just used for crap that is really just depressing. So we have training 1 through 10. Let's see, movement. Impossible. Did we make it impossible 1 through 10? No, we didn't. Let's connect back to source control. Alright, so I'm just going to have to do a reconcile. Don't energy drinks make you tired after a while? Well, I pretty much, I don't know. I use it as kind of a focusing agent because the how my brain works pretty much is caffeine doesn't really work in the same way for my mind as everyone else's. Kind of the ADHD thing where a lot of the things that help with focus is things like caffeine, so it's kind of where I'm at. So control, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to change back to the naming conventions here for impossible. So impossible one. Let's fix up that redirector. Okay, let's see if I can actually just disconnect from source control and not have this thing get all pissed off if I duplicate these assets. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty easy to do. Caffeine tablets, Jesus. Long overnight drives. Oh, Jesus. If I need to, like, stay up forever, I just drink water. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of pumping yourself full of caffeine if you really need to do a whole hell of a lot of work. No dose for the win? Jesus. Lots of water and onions? Jesus Christ. I just imagine somebody with like a giant fucking raw onion just like shoveling it into their face while they're coding. I don't know. I'm not saying you look like that or you're constantly shoveling onions into your face, but I don't know. It was a funny image in my mind. I've done that once. That's got to be. You just imagine coworkers just being like, you know, like you bring somebody around for an interview, and you know, there's just some dude chopping away on an onion. And it's like, is that normal? He's like, oh yeah, you know, meet this guy, meet Mind Rage, and it's just like, how's it going? Just fucking bits of onion all over the place. Like, oh, it's good, you know. Fuck. All right. so we need sort order. Sort order is already set. So this is for control. So mission name, unlocked name, thumbnail, category. Okay, so mission name, let's do control 1. No, this is control 1-1. Onion makes you really awake. Yeah. So I think one of the things was when I was in high school and working in a grocery store, they had a product which was caffeine strips. So when those like Listerine like breath strips became super popular, they also started. Somebody got the wild idea of doing caffeine strips, and that went about as horrible as you might imagine. With basically at work, because then you're just bagging groceries, like you don't give a shit about anything. So we like eat a bunch of these caffeine strips and get really fucked up on caffeine while we're bagging groceries, which is just a great combination. God, a bunch of drugged out teenagers bagging your shit. Alright, control 1, excellent. So we will save all of those. So control 1 through 10, very good. Unlocked name, control 1 through 10. Right. Control 2. Now the other thing we will need is the unlocked mission name. Control 1. I miss working at that grocery store. That was fun. Like, I brought in a flamethrower one day to work and showed it off. That was cool. I almost got fired for that, though. Caffeine tastes horribly, just gulp it down. I don't know, coffee's not bad. Crave for the cold. I stopped drinking sugar because I'd like to have teeth when I'm older. Yeah, it's pretty funny when I bust out the flamethrower at work there that I made, and basically somebody like it's a big football field sized parking lot, and like I was at literally the front door for the store, and like two of the other employees came out, and I was just like, "Hey, watch this!" And I just like flamethrower the front pavement, with like a 25-foot flame coming out of this thing, and a car pulled into the parking lot and then backed out onto the busy street and kept going. I was just like, shit. The monsters that I drink and the other ones are always the sugar-free kind. So, yes, they are pretty much all sugar though, but I don't drink that anymore. I used to when I was at EA. I think you probably saw I had all that Mountain Dew stacked up on my desk. Mark would come by with like cases of Mountain Dew and just give them to me. That was bad. That was not a very healthy decision. All right, these all need to be what? Control. Sugar-free is sweetened with aspartame. The stuff's disgusting. It tastes bitter. Well, you see, that's where I come in. I don't give a shit about lots of things that bug people. So it just doesn't affect me. Alright, unlocked by Control 2-1. I'd rather die of cancer, but at least have teeth while I'm dying. He gave you Mountain Dew to keep you at work, but you just thought you loved working. No, it's definitely not the case. Like, I actually had Sam, the technical director, he actually like got security to force me to not come into work one time. Because he was just like, you need to take like at least one day off, you know, someday. And I was like, no. And he's just like, well, don't make me get security. I was like, you're gonna have to get security to prevent me from coming in and like actually taking a day off. And he's like, all right. It's like, fuck, he called my bluff. It wasn't a bluff. He called security. I couldn't come in. It works though. Control 3-1. It was actually pretty funny working at EA because the security guards did all know who I was because I was there pretty much at all hours all the time. So like there were times where I'd show up at like 3 in the morning and like pound on the door and I'd be like, I forgot my badge. Let me in anyway. And they would just, all right, there's Kirk again. All right, so this is Control. Category is Control 3. And let's unlock by these values. We were just wandering around at 2 or 3 a.m. That was probably me and Ivan. And yeah, we were there all the time. I don't know these guys. Yeah, this is true. And Mind Range is totally true. I actually scared people at EA one time, where some of the other guys had come in, and it was during like the holiday break, so nobody was in the office. So I was just in the office. I think I had been just like playing Minecraft there for like 10 hours straight, and I was literally dressed with like with pajama pants on. That were all black and like all black long sleeve, like, you know, comfortable clothes. And these like 2 of the other guys were there talking. They were like in there just grab something, and I come out of the shadows and when they're talking, and I'm like, oh hey guys, and they're like, what the fuck, Jesus. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm just here, don't worry about it. It's like, good times. So yeah, silent step. Yeah. Well, I also wasn't wearing shoes, right? I was just sitting there in socks because I I didn't give a damn about anything. That was an interesting job after a while. Like there were some times there where like the platform team was super toxic. Like there were people who just did not agree, and like I was brought on from the game team to the platform team because the platform was falling apart and they needed me. But I was like the most junior engineer, so like I was brought in to save the senior engineers' asses, and it and that of course was garnered a lot of animosity because I did stuff very differently than they did. I would, damn the consequences, full steam ahead. We need to ship the game, and so it obviously pissed off these senior guys or more senior guys that I was brought in to fix everything that they had wrecked, and yeah, there were a few times where I'd be there working at like a Friday at close to midnight or something, and some of the guys on the platform team would roll in drunk, and I'd be there working, and man, there were a couple times they just come over to my desk and just start hassling me. It's like shit, but I didn't give a fuck. There were a few times where it's just they come in, oh, look, it's Kirk, he's probably breaking everything, and, I'm like, nah, I finished that feature, and it'll be shipped next week, and blah, 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 and they're like, oh, you just caused problems. Be like, no, actually, you caused problems. Just fucking nerd fights at midnight on Friday with drunk people. I'm glad I had older brothers, so I was just like, get the fuck out of my face. Fun times. Those guys quit though. Antagonize the threat. Yeah, that's how bullying security works. Let's see. Unlock name. Thumb category. Yeah, and like their stuff didn't work, so like they had no legs to stand on. Like, there was one time one of the guys was on call and at work at around noon, and basically we had pushed out an update for Dragon Age Legends, and it had broken some of the quest lines for people. So me and the intern, well, pretty much the intern had been working on a database like crawling script to go across all of production and fix everybody's broken quest lines, And so we've been working on this, and pretty much everybody in the office knew we were working on this. And then we kicked off the script, and this guy, it's after lunch, he's at his desk, and he gets a call that because he's on call, and he gets paged by the system saying, oh, production database, issue, it's, high load average and everything. And so he starts looking at all this stuff, and after a while he gets super pissed off and goes over to the intern, and he's just like, you're running a script on the database and you didn't tell me, and I got paged and like all this other shit. And I had been helping the intern get this thing working. And so the intern starts apologizing and like all this other stuff, and I just like cut him off. I'm just like, fuck you, Walter. Like, the intern is like trying to like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to do all this. Like, Walter, you're at work, you're on call, you would have looked in the database anyway. Like, just go back to your desk. Just, and the intern's like, no, like, no, Kirk, stop, you're making it worse. And I'm just like, no. Oh, man. I'm glad I stuck to my guns at that place against those guys. It would have been a lot easier to be the intern there. But you think back on it, and you're just like, the dude was on call at work. Like, what the hell is his problem? Didn't know that we were even doing the thing. The intern was next to him. Like, we even had it during, like, the stand-up in the morning that this was happening. And it's like, oh, it's somehow everybody else's fucking fault they didn't tell Walter he was going to get paged when he's at his desk during work hours and have to look at some fucking database logs. Man, that just sucks, You just hold up a giant cross. Yeah, sorry, Man Rage. The work hours at EA were not really that bad. It was actually quite good that basically EA went through that whole EA Wives scandal where they had people basically under desks sleeping there, and the wives of a lot of engineers sued EA and was basically saying, like, you got all these guys on salary, and it's just this big exploitation thing. We need to do something about this. You can't just do this. So they successfully sued EA, and EA had to now pay all entry-level employees hourly. But it's actually really good to be overworked in an hourly job situation when you actually get paid for all the hours. So I was working 80-hour weeks, but I was getting paid for 80 hours in that week for a single job. So, after 60 hours, you start getting double overtime and like all this other stuff. So me being there at 2 a.m, unlimited overtime for a project, hell yeah, sign me up for that. I'd do that again. That was great. Especially right after college when, you got like student loans you want to pay off. Just like, sign me up. Like, do you hate getting paid and do you hate money? Well, find a different job. So it's pretty cool to have that. So while the hours were, ridiculous, they were ridiculous by choice. You didn't have to be there. Alright, so movements all unlocked. Hey, it's working. Very good. Sets movement 3. Let's do scoring. So what would be my dream company or studio to work at? My dream company would be something that I run. I would want a studio of probably about 6 people total, including content creators and designers and everything. Something about that size. And work on small 1 to 2 year projects. That would be pretty awesome. When I was, going to college, I'd be like, oh, I want to work for Blizzard. I want to work for these other things. So you're like, actually, I'd rather just be in charge of a small thing, doing your own thing. Cliffy B just folded his company. I don't follow any of that. This is scoring 1, right? Celebrity status in the game industry never made any sense to me because Scoring 1-1. Because, you know, like, lots of people make games, not one person. It's not like your lead designer is some crazy... Yeah, because Peter Molyneux, yeah. And some of those is an attempt to create a brand, you know, like Sid Meier and things like that, which makes sense. But it's kind of interesting in that the games industry doesn't really have people like directors for movies, where, you know, there are certain directors that just make money. You know, they make movies that make money. And that's not really the case with a lot of games industry stuff, where you'll have the most senior team of all time. You know, like, we got everybody who's made SimCity for the last, you know, how many years, and they're all the super senior engineers from it, and all the design and production staff, and oh my god, they just created a gigantic fuck up of a game. You know, it's like, how does this happen? Hideo Kojima? Yeah, it's true. But it's very rare, right? And a lot of that. I don't know. I've worked with a couple celebrities at Amazon where we had the guy who did all the Splinter Cell games. That was Clint Hawking or whatever the hell his name is. And worked with Kim Swift, who's like the person who made Portal, but that's not really true. Whatever. It's just... It didn't matter. Both of those people washed out. Did they get anything done? Nope. Then again, that Amazon's pile of trash. Basically, I one of the things about Amazon Game Studios is, after a while, I was just like, you know, it's a really good strategy by Amazon. They pay all these people so they can't make games for the competition. Done an HD remake of Jazz Jackrabbit. I don't know. Remakes. Problem with remakes is they don't really work very well for games. Though we'll see. Blizzard's gonna come out with a bunch of remake stuff, right? Let's see. Five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dark Souls and Skyrim just love doing re-releases. Oh yeah, that is true. When will you be able to play Skyrim within Minecraft within Skyrim? Oh wait, they already shipped that. Fuck. So scoring 3. When redstone is yeah, exactly. When you're redstone, you have to write a specific language interpreter for all your redstone. Well, see, in order to run this Minecraft map, you have to install this redstone to C++ generated compiler, which will then hotload the DLLs, and then the thing will work. It's just like, what? You're like, just don't worry about it. Just follow the simple 2,000 page instructions for this mod. Alright, sounds legit. Why is my computer on fire? It's not literally on fire. But also, one of the things is it's now starting to warm up here. Don't log into public service with this mod because it may cause direct hardware. Yeah. Everything is fine. Ignore the Dogecoin miner. It's starting to be, like, get into summer here. Or starting to go from spring to summer. And one of the awesome things is because I have a basement, the basement is nice and cool all day, every day. This basement is the best basement of all time, gotta say. Dungeon Dweller achievement? Exactly. Well, because basically, in the winter, my basement is warmer than the rest of the house, and in the summer, the basement is cooler than the rest of the house. Like, regardless, at all times. So, normally people would have some sort of, basement or some sort of geothermal sort of thing that goes into the ground to cool air and use the ground as a battery in order to, like, make the rest of the house habitable. But I'm doing the opposite. I'm using the upstairs and all the rest of that trash up there to make the basement habitable. Because that's how I do things. As long as you get enough lighting. No, I'm just gonna die of vitamin D deficiency down here. Now I try to get out and go hang out with my parents every so often over here, because go walk around the park and say hello to people that exist in reality, right? $27 degrees in freaking Sweden. Yeah, that was the fun part about buying a house where I was. talking to a realtor is like, well, what do you want in a place, and they're used to talking with people who have actual needs for things, such as, well, I'm handicapped, so I need to have good access to the street, and or I've got kids, I don't want to be next to a busy road or schools, or I work, so I need to have good access to the highway. I'm just like, I don't care. How's the internet? I want a basement. Well, this house has a nice blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't have bad internet next. $15 inches of snow back in April. Damn. And it's 27 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. 80 degrees. What? That's a massive swing. What internet do I have at the moment? At the moment, I've got Comcast Business Class. So it's pretty decent. But it's not as good as like business class internet in larger cities. So it's very good for where I am, and I have very good internet, but it's okay. It's not like super the best thing in the world. It's good enough for where I am, though. This is solo. Alright, category is solo 3. Nordic countries have good internet. Well, I mean, it's also, the United States is a fucking massive country. And you can just ask Adam and his completely reliable internet how having a large country that has lots of empty spaces affects the internet quality. Let's just say it doesn't help. But yeah, I'm jealous of people who have much higher quality internets. I'm actually not. It's actually pretty good where we are. We've had good stuff here for quite a while. It's not like I got to deal with, I have like 100 guaranteed down and like 20 guaranteed up, and that's good enough for me for most everything. It'd be nice if I had more than that, especially for uploading video to like YouTube or whatever. I could use some more. Yeah, approximately $35. Yeah, I definitely pay more than that. And that was one of the nice things about being at a big company like EA or Amazon or wherever, was the internet speed was crazy, and since I was working there usually odd hours, it was even better because I got to use all of it. And this is the part of game design where, if you've ever heard me talking about welcome to a 20,000 line XML file, this is where you'll live for the next 3 months. This is kind of what happens with game design at some point. You're just basically doing a whole hell of a lot of text entry, and if you fuck anything up in your text entry, things break, and you have to go through all the text again. It's like programming, but with less type checking. What would be the biggest thing you've ever downloaded? What was that game that used megatextures? The game that used megatexture, wasn't that Prey or no? Was it called Prey or was it Rage or whatever? The ID Software game with whatever that I had stupid horrible fucking texture streaming, but used its megatextures because it's amazing. It's the next big thing. Your Carmack, blah blah blah. I'm gonna go work for self-driving cars after this. You know that one. I don't know what the biggest thing I ever downloaded is. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. I think what does matter is the longest I've ever had to wait for a download, which would be when I was downloading the trial version of Age of Empires 1 back on when that was the, you know, just coming out, and I downloaded that thing for like 3 days. And it was 20 megabytes, and I played that game, and since it was the trial, it only had one map online, but I played the absolute shit out of that game. Because it was so cool. Be like, I got archers, and they're building the Coliseum. I'm gonna go set it on fire. I'll be right back. I had lofty dreams. Was Tibia? I'm not familiar with Tibia, other than the bone in your arm. The hell's Tibia? Massively multiplayer online role-playing game created by Kipsoft, one of the oldest ever considered noteworthy. Oh yeah, the one that with the fucking door for level 999 people. Well, that's cool. All right, did I finish this thing? Team 2, 2, 2. All right. Yeah, looks like I got it. Yeah, a lot of people, I think there's earlier MMO games that really had big followings that aren't well known, such as there's tons of multi-user dungeon stuff that like I wasn't a part of, but I do. Some people really got into stuff like that with games going on for just forever. This is Team 3. Alright, so I think I got all the stuff. Let's export the missions. There are 9 errors. Alright, what are the 9 errors? Multiple missions have the name Impossible 01, check assets, impossible blah. Alright, so I need to go through the impossible missions and set them up properly. You stuck with Tibia quite a while, love making stuff, open source community. Usually love doing spells and stuff, though the community is basically dead since long ago. Well, yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, another one. I think in middle school I played that was when RuneScape was the big thing. I remember playing so much RuneScape. Like, I still have a character, I believe, that I could log into, but I haven't logged into it in like years. And the only reason I logged into it at all was just to see if it still existed and if I still knew what the hell the password was. Thumbnail is impossible. Category is impossible. Unlocked by... Yeah, the 2D old one used to be Mind Rage. Just remove the yeah. Yeah, I definitely remember all that stupid crap with. Like, I was definitely there before they made any of the 3D stuff. I remember when they switched over to 3D, I believe. But I had been playing for quite a while, and I don't think I was there for that long after it. But the game was basically just like totally broken too. It was just a big ass world with stuff. It wasn't super incredible. Unlock mission and unlock category set for unlock, only use 1. Unlock category should be undefined. I think it's supposed to be none. One error. Mission name was blank and no unlock category specified. Impossible 1, check impossible 1. This should be always unlocked. No, it should be mission category. The impossible mission should be unlocked by completing what should it be done? That freedom, yeah. That was always the cool thing about some of those online communities was they actually were communities. And usually there was permanent consequences to stuff and stuff like that. And people just kind of hung out. So it'd be like, what are you doing today? It'd be like, I'm just mining copper ore and killing fucking scorpions. I'm gonna be here for the next 8 hours. You know, just bullshitting with people. Alright, so what do we want for this? I think we want an impossible thing. Basically, impossible missions should be unlocked by you completing probably everything in the second level. So we're going to want, you have to complete, what? Scoring 2. So it's going to be scoring 2, and then movement 2, and movement control, solo, and team 2. Yeah, if you complete all of those, it'll unlock. Alright, so let's go through these missions. In Tibia, you can basically just throw parties, have guilds with decorated houses, even have large wars if you wanted. You could basically move around all the doodads and use them as platforms to climb floors. Yeah, so much. Very cool. Alright, so let's take a look. We've got all these missions. So what do we want these guys to be unlocked by? We want Control 1 to be unlocked by training. So let's go to mission, unlocked by. We're going to add another one, which is going to be mission category training. You need to finish all the training with any rank. Alright, Control 2 needs to be, you need to finish Control 1. So we go to unlocked by, Control 2 needs Control 1. Control 3 needs Control 2 finished. Still shitty 2D grid systems now, say stuff, but it still worked well. Yeah. Definitely. Unlocked by... This is movement 1. Should be unlocked by training. This is movement 2, so it should be unlocked by movement 1. This is movement 3, so it should be unlocked by movement 2.